Life in UK, my story with my best friend and my wife. The proposal in Ghana. Eric surprises Peace with a marriage proposal at her favorite riverside spot in Ghana. The sun is setting, casting a golden glow over the tranquil water. The soft strumming of a guitarist's melody fills the air, blending with the sound of the flowing river. Eric, dressed in a crisp white linen shirt, kneels on one knee, his heart pounding as he opens a velvet ring box. Peace, you're the woman I want to build my dreams with. Will you marry me? He asks, his voice trembling with emotion. Peace, wearing a flowing traditional kente dress, gasps, her hands covering her mouth as tears glisten in her eyes. Overwhelmed, she nods, whispering, "Yes." The water ripples gently as if echoing their joy. The wedding in Accra, Ghana. Their wedding in Accra is a spectacle of love and culture. The rhythmic beats of traditional drums set the mood as friends and family gather, dressed in vibrant kente cloth. Eric, resplendent in a royal blue agbada with intricate gold embroidery, watches Peace walk towards him. She shines in a radiant, gold and orange kente gown, her gale wrapped perfectly around her head. Laughter, joy, and celebration fill the air as the newlyweds dance, surrounded by well-wishers throwing flower petals in the air. Eric raises his glass during the toast. "To the love of my life, Peace. Together we'll soar higher than the eagles." Selling the family home beneath the shade of the old mango tree in their childhood backyard, Eric and Peace sit in silence, lost in memories. The scent of ripe mangoes lingers in the warm afternoon air. "Remember how we used to climb this tree? As kids?" Peace whispers, her voice heavy with nostalgia. Eric nods, squeezing her hand. "This is just a step towards something greater," he assures her. A real estate agent, dressed in a crisp suit, places a contract on the table before them. They take a deep breath, exchange a look of understanding, and sign, knowing they are closing one chapter to begin another. The airport goodbye to family, the departure hall of Kotoka International Airport, is filled with emotions. Eric, mother, adorned in a rich kente cloth, presses a folded fabric into his hands. "This kente cloth is a reminder. Never forget where you come from," she whispers. Peace's father, normally a man of few words, embraces her tightly, his eyes glassy with unshed tears. Their younger siblings cling to their legs, unwilling to let go. The announcement for their flight crackles over the speakers, and with a final wave, Eric and Peace turn toward their uncertain but hopeful future. Settling into London, their first night in London is a cold shock. The tiny apartment is bare, the walls empty, the floorboards creaking underfoot. Eric fiddles with the radiator, shivering in his thick sweater. "I think we just moved into a fridge," he jokes, making Peace burst into laughter. They huddle together under a single blanket, sipping hot tea and dreaming of the life they hope to build. The city outside is vast and unfamiliar, but together, they feel a little less lost. Exploring London together, the weekends become their chance to escape their tiny apartment and explore the wonders of London. They stroll hand in hand past Big Ben, stand in awe before Buckingham Palace, and watch the sunset over Tower Bridge. The cold wind bites at their cheeks, but their excitement keeps them warm. Eric squeezes Akoswa's hand. "One day we'll be able to call this city home," he whispers. Peace's first day at university, Eric, camera in hand, clicks away furiously as Peace walks through the university gates. She groans, covering her face. "Eric, you're worse than the paparazzi." He chuckles, snapping another photo. "I'm documenting greatness," he teases. She shakes her head with a laugh before disappearing into the crowd of students. Eric's job. Hunt-dressed in his best suit, Eric sits at their small desk, staring at another rejection email. His fingers tighten around the edge of the table. "Overqualified, lacks UK experience," he reads aloud. The pile of rejection letters beside him keeps growing. The weight of their sacrifices presses on him, but he clenches his fists, refusing to give up. Taking the cleaning job, desperation grips Eric. as he accepts a janitorial job at a corporate office in London. Each night, while the city sleeps, he mops floors and empties trash bins, his back aching from the labor. The once aspiring entrepreneur now cleans the offices of successful businessmen, a bitter irony that gnaws at him. To keep his spirits up, he hums old Ghanaian folk songs, his voice echoing in the empty halls. One night, his colleague, a fellow immigrant named Ahmed, chuckles. "You sing well. Maybe you can mop and perform." At the same time, Eric forces a smile, but deep down shame lingers. Peace's friendship with Bright, Eric's best friend. Bright, Eric's old friend from Ghana, becomes a frequent visitor. He helps Peace with her coursework, guiding her through complex assignments. He showers her with praise, saying, "You're smarter than most of my colleagues at work." Peace beams, feeling seen and appreciated in ways she hasn't in a long time. She starts looking forward to their study sessions, appreciating his intellect and charm. Over time, her laughter becomes more genuine around Bright, a stark contrast to the distant conversations she now shares with Eric. Eric's romantic dinner. Determined to reignite the spark in their marriage, Eric prepares a surprise candlelit dinner. He carefully lays out a spread of jollof rice, fried plantains, and grilled tilapia, recreating the tastes of home. When Peace walks in, he pulls out a chair for her and serves the meal with a proud smile. She takes a bite, nods approvingly, but then sighs. "Eric, instead of spending time cooking, maybe you should focus on finding a real job," she says, her tone sharp. His heart sinks, but he forces a grin. "I just wanted to make you happy." Peace doesn't respond, staring at her plate. Bright's growing influence. Bright's presence in Peace's life grows stronger. He starts picking her up after class, offering excuses like, "Kweku said you might need help carrying groceries." His charm and confidence slowly chip away at her defenses. During their rides, she confides in him about her frustrations, how Eric no longer excites her, how their struggles are exhausting. Bright listens, nodding with understanding. "You deserve more peace," he whispers one evening, his fingers lightly grazing hers as he parks the car in front of her apartment. She doesn't pull away. The first major argument late one night, Eric glances at Peace's phone and sees her texting Bright. His stomach knots. "What could be so important at this hour?" he asks, voice tense. Peace immediately pulls the phone away, clutching it protectively. "You're just jealous because he's successful," she snaps, her tone sharper than she intended. Eric's blood boils. "I sacrificed everything for you, Peace. I work all night so you can have this life, and this is how you repay me?" His voice cracks with hurt and betrayal. The air between them is suffocating, thick with unspoken accusations. The argument spirals until Peace storms into the bedroom, slamming the door so hard that a framed photo of their wedding day tilts on the wall. Bright's seduction. Bright invites Akosha to dinner at a stylish rooftop restaurant overlooking the London skyline. The soft hum of jazz music and flickering candlelight create an atmosphere of intimacy. Over wine and perfectly plated dishes, Bright leans in, his voice low and deliberate. "You deserve someone who matches your ambition, Peace. Someone who sees your brilliance and won't hold you back." His words are intoxicating, a sharp contrast to Eric's exhaustion and endless struggles. She looks away, troubled, but his hand finds hers on the table, his thumb tracing slow circles on her skin. When he leans in further, she hesitates, but doesn't pull away. Their lips meet, and she knows there is no turning back. Eric's growing suspicion. Coming home one evening, Eric finds Peace and Bright laughing together in the kitchen. His gut tightens at the sound. Carefree, intimate, a melody he hasn't heard from her in months. "What's going on?" he asks, forcing a smile as he sets down his work bag. Peace barely glances at him. "You're always so paranoid, Eric," she mutters, stirring a pot on the stove. Bright, leaning casually against the counter, smirks but says nothing. Eric clenches his fists at his sides, his suspicions now undeniable. The locked door. One evening, Eric arrives home early to find the door locked. Confused, he knocks, but there's no answer. Through the window, he sees movement, Akosua in Bright's arms, her hands resting on his chest. His vision blurs. He pounds on the door, calling her name, but she doesn't respond. The betrayal slices through him like a blade. With trembling hands, he stumbles backward, his world crumbling. Peace's cruel words during another argument. Peace glares at Eric, her voice icy. "You're not the man I thought I married. I need more." Her words are daggers, sharp and deliberate. Eric feels like the ground beneath him has given way. His voice breaks as he whispers, "I gave you everything I had." But deep down he knows it's not enough for her anymore. The immigration tip-off. Bright sits across from Peace in his car, watching her carefully. "You don't owe him anything anymore, Peace," he says smoothly. "If you want to be free, this is how you do it." He slides his phone across the console. On the screen is a contact form for UK Immigration Services. Peace bites her lip, staring at it. She hesitates, memories of Eric flashing through her mind, but the anger, the exhaustion, the longing for more, all drown out the guilt. Slowly, she nods. Eric's arrested is an ordinary afternoon at the office when the doors burst open and uniformed immigration officers flood the room. The air is thick with tension. Eric, dressed in his janitor's uniform, is in the middle of mopping the floor when he hears his name. His heart pounds. "Eric Mensah?" one of the officers calls sternly. "Yes?" he responds, his voice uncertain. "You're under investigation for immigration violations. Please, come with us." A hush falls over the office. His colleagues exchange confused glances as Eric, now frozen, shakes his head in disbelief. "There must be a mistake," he pleads. "I've done nothing wrong." The officers show him the deportation order, and before he can say another word, cold metal cuffs snap onto his wrists. His supervisor steps forward, his face a mixture of shock and pity. "Eric, do you need a lawyer?" someone asks. But it's too late. As they lead him away, he sees a few colleagues whispering. Some avoid his gaze. Others look on with sadness. The betrayal stings more than the cuffs biting into his skin. Deportation and goodbye. The sterile white lights of the airport glare down on Eric as he stands at the immigration desk, his passport clutched in shaking hands. He is exhausted, mentally, physically, emotionally. The officer processing his deportation looks at him with an unusual expression, a mixture of sympathy and professionalism. "You've been here legally before. What happened?" the officer asks, flipping through pages of his file. Eric swallows hard. "I trusted the wrong people." The officer sighs, stamps his passport, and slides it back across the counter. "Withdraw what you can from your account before you leave," he advises. "Don't let this destroy you completely." Eric nods, barely hearing him. His mind is replaying memories, his arrival in London full of hope, the late nights working hard, Peace's laughter when they first explored the city. All of it gone. He grips his suitcase handle tightly. As he boards the plane, he takes one last look at the country that was supposed to be his future. His eyes burn, but he refuses to cry. Back in Kumasi, Ghana. The streets of Kumasi are the same, yet they feel foreign. Eric stumbles along the dusty roads, the heat of the sun beating down on him. His once neatly pressed clothes are now wrinkled, his shoes scuffed. He has nowhere to go. His family is ashamed of him, and his friends have moved on. A half-empty bottle of local gin dangles from his hand as he slumps against a wall near the bustling Kajadia market. The scent of grilled plantains and spicy waki drifts in the air, but he has no appetite. "I gave her everything," he mutters, staring at the cracks in the pavement. Wasn't that enough? Vendors pass him without a second glance, used to seeing lost souls like him. Some shake their heads in pity, others scoff. But he doesn't care. He lifts the bottle to his lips again, numbing the pain, numbing the betrayal. Meeting Nana Prempa. The night is cold when Eric finally passes out in an alley behind a row of small shops. His dreams are a mixture of London and Ghana, of pieces, laughter, and her betrayal. When he wakes up, a wrinkled yet strong hand is shaking his shoulder. "Son, get up." Eric blinks up at the old man standing over him. The man, dressed in a simple cloth wrapped around his waist, eyes him with both sternness and concern. "I don't know what you've been through," the man says, his voice deep and steady. "But lying in the gutter won't fix it." Eric groans, rubbing his head. "And what do you care?" The old man chuckles dryly. "I've seen too many young men waste away because of heartbreak. I won't let you be another." He extends a calloused hand. Eric hesitates, but something in the man's eyes, wisdom, understanding, maybe even hope, makes him reach out. As he stands, the man pats his back. "I am Nana Prempe. Come with me. Let's get you cleaned up." For the first time in months, Eric feels the faintest spark of something. Maybe redemption, maybe just a chance to start over. End of part 1.